Welcome back to another episode review and breakdown for Titans Season 3. We return once again to our main storyline. Of course, last week in Episode 9, we took a little bit of a break, went on to that side afterlife story, of course, focusing on Tim Drake and Donna Troy, and then also we got the return of Hank Hall. So that was a really cool episode, really enjoyed it, but now we return to follow up after that big cliffhanger in Episode 8, where basically the Scarecrow won. He ended up getting his anti-fear toxin into Gotham's water supply, and it was kind of Starfire's fault. So now we get to see the aftermath of that, and it is way bigger than I thought it would be, but I love it so much. It was such a good episode. But anyways, if you haven't seen it yet, of course, spoiler warning for Titans Season 3, Episode 10, Troubled Water. So anyways, guys, let's go ahead and jump into this. So when we start off the episode, we have a nice conversation between Barbara and the GCPD, and Dick is also there, and they're just contemplating, like, what did they do to help clean out and drain Gotham's water supply? And they're saying things of, like, you know, a good cleaning job, it would be, like, 4 to 5 days of, like, cutting people off from water. And, like, you can't do that. Like, people need water in Gotham City for, like, everything. Like, it's hard to go a whole day, like just one day without using water. So 4 to 5 days, that is just not an option. But I mean, if you thought that was bad, things get even worse, because now after this, Scarecrow just like does such the smart thing here in this situation, because he releases an official video to Gotham. He does that whole classic Batman villain thing where he broadcasts a video to everybody in Gotham City. It pops up on everybody's phones, on all the TVs and all that stuff. So he broadcasts this video that basically frames Nightwing and the Titans, even though it is technically their fault, and specifically Starfire's fault for blowing up the place in Episode 8. But yeah, he released this video and puts out a bounty on their heads, and it's just wanted dead or alive. And yeah, and then at the end of it, it places Red Hood as Gotham's savior. So there's definitely some bias here, but obviously this is the smart thing for him to do in this situation, because now that everybody, or at least most people, are juiced up with the anti-fear toxin in Gotham City, this is really going to fuel them, especially because, like, it was like $54,000 or something like that they'd get for bringing in one of the Titans. Like, yeah, I'm gonna do that, especially now that I have no fears. So that's not good, like, at all. But now this is officially a thing, and I think it's actually really cool, and that sets us off on our big story in this episode. Now, one other thing in this episode that wasn't really focused on too much, but we did get this scene earlier on in the episode with Gar, where he was doing some research on the Lazarus Pit, and it was like one of Bruce Wayne's books, and he was just reading about it. And again, it wasn't really a big thing in the episode, it was just for that one scene, but I do think that's probably setting up for something, especially how it focused in on that the book was left right there sitting on a table in Wayne Manor, especially how we see at the end of the episode that now Scarecrow and Jason are within Wayne Manor, or Crane Manor now, so they're probably going to end up finding that, and that's not a good thing, although you'd think they'd already know about Lazarus Pits, since that's how Jason came back, but whatever, definitely not good either way. Then we go to catch up with Donna Troy, now newly resurrected. She is back to life. She has left Bruce Wayne wherever he is off in the world. And we see that Lydia, the basically trainer and like mentor and guide that we saw for Rachel, aka Raven, in last week's episode in Themyscira, we have her now following Donna on her journey to Gotham City, and she's basically saying that she wants to bring her back, and that she needs to train, and she needs to do some tests and stuff. So then all of a sudden she does, like, I'm not exactly sure how she does this, like some sort of like weird thing. I don't even know how to explain it, but she takes her to the training grounds. And so then they do some quick training, and basically she proves herself. And by the end of this, Donner's like, why? Like, why do you keep doing this to me? And that's when she tells her, you're the best of us. And, like, you're from both my world and the human world, which makes you the best of us. And so you need to rise. So basically just telling her to, like, be better than she was before, and not do silly things like get yourself electrocuted. And that was actually a little joke later on in the episode when, like, somebody tased her and was like, yeah, that's not working on me now. But yeah, now she's inspired, she's ready to go, and she is still on her way to Gotham City. I'm not sure if this is gonna like change anything for her, if she's just gonna go back to being Wonder Girl, or if she's gonna maybe take on the mantle of Troya from the comics. I think that would be pretty interesting. But we'll have to wait and see on that, because that was the end of Donna's story in this episode. Meanwhile, the Titans turn themselves in to Barbara and the GCPD, which obviously is kind of just like for show, just to make everybody in Gotham City know that like they're not evil and it's not their fault and it's actually Scarecrow's fault. So they turn themselves in, but turns out one of the main guys working at the GCPD was paid off by Scarecrow. He's a corrupt cop. This is something we're going to be seeing explored in the Batman spinoff for HBO Max about the GCPD, where we're seeing all these corrupt cops. So we see that here, and this corrupt cop shoots Blackfire, and then it basically turns out into this all-out war of the GCPD versus the Titans. So yeah, that's definitely not good to show your loyalty if you're beating up the cops. But even worse, while all that is going on, that big huge battle, Starfire goes to try and heal Blackfire and actually does start healing her, but then all of a sudden Blackfire steals her powers, and you get to see them get into a very sisterly sibling argument here. And this is a crazy moment that I was like expecting and also not expecting at the same time, because I've mentioned this before, like going into this season, I thought Blackfire was supposed to be the main villain, and up until this point, we've kind of seen her as a member of the Titans. But now she's finally snapped. She leaves the Titans, and she says, like, oh, I have unfinished business. And I'm not sure if she's going to come back as a main villain in this season, because there are only 3 more episodes left, so we'll kind of have to wait and see. But like I said, I was definitely waiting for that moment. I think it definitely paid off. And I'm also excited to see, like, how they explain, like, what exactly happened to Starfire. Like, does she just not have powers at all anymore, and Blackfire is just super powerful? Or has she just, like, had her powers drained? I don't exactly know, but I'm definitely excited to find out. And so we see that with this attempt of turning themselves in to put on a show and basically gain back the loyalty of Gotham City, it actually ends up making things even worse, because during this whole battle, Barbara actually ended up shooting that corrupt cop that originally shot Blackfire, but because she does that, she ends up getting arrested, which was not something I was expecting, but I mean, it makes sense. So, wow, I mean, Commissioner Gordon getting arrested, that's definitely not good. So, I mean, she probably thinks it's worth it, though, because, you know, she saved Dick's life, but still, she's arrested, or at least loses her position, and that's not good at all. And now Gotham is just in shambles. It's falling apart even more than it was before. There's even more crime. I mean, Gotham was already a crime-filled city, but now it is even more, now that everybody's got the anti-fear toxin. But we get this nice scene towards the end where Raven arrives and finds Gar, so she finally reunites with the Titans. And then the final scene of the episode is basically showing that the Titans, they can't return to Wayne Manor, so Dr. Jonathan Crane, aka Scarecrow, and Jason take over, and we officially have Crane Manor. And it's such a cool moment, and I'm excited to see, like, they're probably going to go down in the Batcave, like I said, probably find that Lazarus Pits book, so I'm excited to see that. But guys, another great episode of Titans Season 3, we got 3 episodes left, or 13 episodes in the season. This was episode 10, really enjoyed it. But guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What did you think about Titans Season 3, episode 10? Let me know all your thoughts, theories, and predictions for the future of this season in the comments below. And thanks for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video, and hit the subscribe button so I keep up to date on everything that goes on in the DC life.